this. Pandora.
Good evening. I am your host, Miss TML. You are now tuned in. Real Talk with TML. We have a very, very, very special guest with us today. He goes by the name K-Lo, the original Live Squad member, legendary producer of the most influential track, I think, one of the most influential tracks that was made by the legendary Tupac Shakur, Pain, which was also on the Above the Rim soundtrack. King, I just want to welcome you today. I appreciate you giving me your time and this conversation tonight because I think it's important to recognize you as an innovator, someone who invokes change, invokes thought, and just with the accolades that you have and the people that you've worked with, you've created some legendary sounds and some legendary tracks. To name some of the few, Nas, Biggy, some of the other people that you've worked with, we're going to get into that, but I just want to welcome you here today. Thank you for coming.
Well, it's my pleasure.
Yeah.
You know, I'm always here for the culture, you know, so it's all good. It's all good.
I love it. I love it. So can you tell me, when did you first get into music?
I got into music in around, man, it was like 1984
Wow.
or whatever. You know, we were talking way back when with the Latin Quarters, Cold Crush Brothers, and all of the early on stuff that influenced me to want to do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it created a passion in me to first DJ and all that kind of stuff
Wow.
without going into so much depth of it. But that was the beginning of my inspiration.
Right. That's dope. Now, you originally are from New York. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm from New York. I was born and raised in Harlem, New York. And then I moved to Hollis, Queens, Queens Village, you know, Queens, Brooklyn. I don't know if anyone, you know, are you familiar with New York? It's almost like where you live at. You could say, well, I'm in Atlanta. Atlanta has different areas, but it's still Atlanta. You see what I'm saying? So when you go to New York, Brooklyn is still Brooklyn, whether you got Bed-Stuy, you got Crown Point or Flatbush, Marcy, in all different parts of Brooklyn. Queens is the same way, where you got Jamaica, Queens, South Jamaica, Hollis, you know, Queens Village, and different other parts of Queens.
Right.
So I could sit here and say Harlem, but Harlem is a upper Manhattan. Harlem is a part of Manhattan, where you got the Midtown, where y'all see the Thanksgiving Day Parade. That's on 34th Street. Harlem is normally like 125th Street that, you know, people are familiar with that come to New York.
Right.
It's an upper part of New York. So that's where I was born and raised at.
That's dope. Now, can you tell me how influential was the culture growing up for you in regards to hip hop?
Well, the culture was always parallel to society.
Mm-hmm.
So as a youth, hip hop was always part of the culture.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to make it make sense, you know, Motown was a part of the culture. I got sunshine on a cloudy day. Now that means, what do you mean you got sunshine on a cloudy day? You know, the Great Depression and all that shit. So hip hop came into being, whether it's from the South Bronx and all of that, the breakdance and the graffiti, and then it had a transformation to what was going on. That was our escape as a culture to really express your talents and what you feel, a freedom of speech, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what did it for me when I came into it, which was the mid to late 80s, early 90s, so to speak,
Mm-hmm.
when everything started transitioning.
Right.
And me at that age, I came into it the way how I came into it, just to make a long story short.
Mm-hmm. I like that. I mean, because again, I think we all have our first memories of hip hop and what made us fall in love with hip hop. So,
Right.
what was your first song that you would say, this is when you said, I want to do this?
Well, it wasn't so much a first song. I
Okay.
remember when, my mom said, yo, you got to be in the house at this certain time as a teenager. But there were block parties. There was, man, somebody asked me this question before, and I started thinking, like, man, we used to sneak out and go to the park jams and climb up on our garage when the block over had a big celebration and certain DJs would be there, and we would get out our little recorders and record it and be like, yo, man, so that inspired me to really get into it. And I told mom, like, man, for my birthday, I want some turntables. So, and I want this, I want that. Musical equipment wasn't available back then because it wasn't something that technology had allowed us to do, to have it in our homes.
Right.
So it
Right.
wasn't any one song that inspired me. It was just hip hop as a whole, where you wearing the fat laces in your Adidas or your Pumas with the Kango hats and all of that stuff. And you're just listening to how hip hop has impacted the culture with fashion and blah, 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 blah. But it wasn't so much like, man, I'm going to be a music producer. Let me do this. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? But it had a passion that developed inside of me to really, it's like you going to school, you're doing your thing, but your escape was hip hop.
Yep. I love it. That's definitely, a lot of what I think the culture's about is the impact. You know what I mean? Like it
Right.
impacts so many people and so many different ways. Like you said, fashion and all the different elements to hip hop. It's not just the music, it's the slang, it's the verbiage, it's the way we speak, the way we walk, the way we talk. It became so influential. So I definitely see all of that in your music, in your catalog, and just the influence and the impact that you make in the production that you create. So salute to you for that, King,
I
because you're keeping
appreciate that.
it alive. I want to go to commercial. I don't want to cut you short, but we'll be right back with Kalo in the building. Ground Watch.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Stay in the loop. 1 second. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. So this is something different for me in regards to going to commercial and having to cut people off. So just bear with me because this is still new, but we're
You
preparing
good.
major television networks and getting the podcast, friendly to that network. So I appreciate that. Um, can you tell me what has changed in regards to the hip hop culture that you've seen over the last decade?
Well, in the last decade, I could sit here and say the meaning of it, because I remember when I was sitting down and they said, hey, hip hop has reached the $50 billion mark of um of the what word am I looking for? How much is the worth? The $50 billion worth of hip hop.
Wow.
I think that sparked um, some things in certain individuals' minds, especially when it went to independent. That damn, we could get paid. There's a lot of money out here, you know. and based on society, because sometimes society will put a man or push a man or a woman to like, look, I got to get it the way I got to get it. Hip hop attracted a lot of people who are very talented. Don't get me wrong, very talented.
Right.
But I think the motives have changed because back when we were doing it, it wasn't all about, yo, we gonna get this money, let's get this paper, my nigga. No, it was all about like, yo, that's dope. Yo, he got lyrics.
Right.
He, this beat is tight. We weren't thinking about back then of how it's gonna sell and how much money we was gonna get
Right.
until an era came where it was like, whoa, we can this shit making us money, yo. But those who were artists that had a passion, still felt at the time that look, it ain't about the fucking money because the way this song was created wasn't about us saying, yo, we gonna sell the numbers. It was more or less like, damn, I can't believe I got this nigga in the studio. I can't believe he busting rhymes over my beats. And it was more of a passion of it.
Right. And I think you're right. I think that the passion's not there. People are doing it for instant gratitude, for instant recognition and fame. And that's hard because, again, coming from the era that we come from, we want something that has meaning, something that has a story. And some of the talks that I've heard you have with worldwide collaboration, because that's how we got connected. I was so inspired because, again, you're a mentor for our younger generation. You're, teaching these people and the people that are a part of this platform, the real groundwork. And just understanding, what these things mean, because I don't think a lot of times the newer generation understand that there's a big history that comes with hip hop and to carry on that torch.
So
Yeah.
I don't mean to cut you off. What I'm saying to the listeners that's listening to this, look, I could take y'all for a walk to my garage and see what's parked in my garage. Is that what it's about? Hell nah. We have appetites. We have things that we want to accomplish in life. We want to live the American dream or we want to live our dream. You know what I mean? We want to live comfortably, not beyond our means. So I just don't want to make it seem like I'm a hater of those who lost the focus of what hip hop was, because back then, and I don't want you to guess my age, it's just back then, our culture was a platform of freedom of speech. You know what I mean? And I think the powers that be, the powers that be did not want us to maintain that platform to impact minds to be like, yo, to wake up.
Right.
You ever heard of woke? Like
Right.
you woke now, nigga. You get it now, right? Oh shit, I didn't know. Because social media and technology has brought so much information where we became into the information age that we became so aware, but at the same time, we became so dumb.
Mm-hmm.
We became so like, okay, I know this, but I'm a smart dummy.
Right.
When it came down to the music, to the hip hop, when it turned rap.
Right.
Look, I represent this shit all the way. Don't get me wrong. I'm not one of those I'll be like, y'all this, y'all that. Look here. My lane is my lane. Your lane is your lane. What inspires you is what inspires you. What inspires me. But the culture has been lost based upon my era of doing things.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, there's so many things, and within your audience, I'm sure they have a lot of questions as they hear my voice, and that's me when I'm doing a lot of engagements. I tell people, raise your hand, tell me if you have a question, please. I want to hear that shit because I don't know how this has influenced you and brought you to the platform where you are.
Exactly. And it's so true. I think that, what I see from you and what I, recognized in you is the responsible king. The king with integrity that is
Appreciate
trying
that.
to right his wrongs. and understand his wrongs and letting people know that, yeah, what we were, doing back then may have not been what it is now, and
Right.
evolution, evolving, and getting past that, that time period of, that pain and whatever the culture was going through and what we were experiencing, and understanding that. I think that that is what I've seen from you, is that you
Yes.
want to give back, to the youth and to the people that are inspired by you and the artists that you've worked with. And I think
Yes.
that's a very noble thing to do, King. I think that, this was the reason why I had to have you be the last king, because I think it says so much to your character and who you are. It's the responsibility, to be accountable and be
Right.
present. So,
Right. 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 I appreciate that.
yeah,
And what I think sometimes we don't have enough time to really understand who Kalo is,
yeah,
but trust me when I tell you, my mom met everybody. And what I take away from that is that my mom was never fascinated with everybody she met. I could go down the whole long list and say my mom met everybody. You
right.
know, whether she see me with the bling bling on and all that, she'd be like, "Come here, your shirt is it's not. Did you
That's
look
the
at your
mom,
hair? Your mom sees shit that the world don't see, but
right?
it was a type of thing that was that came over me, that I learned that sometimes our parents, what they teach us, does not come about later on in life. Even when you become a multi-platinum producer, your whole foundation sometimes don't come into being until you like, damn, mom was right. Oh shit. That all of this don't mean shit.
Nothing.
So look, I could sit here and floss on people, but my thing is, look, your passion for what you do.
Hmm.
If it's a passion, don't sell out your passion.
Hmm.
My passion was always to move the culture. So when
Hmm.
we came up with the thug life aspect of everything, it created a different type of passion, let alone from the earliest stages of what led to it.
Right.
So I was one of those that wasn't like, man, I could make millions, I could get money. It was more or less like, oh shit, this is impacting the culture, whether you sign into record labels, because back then it was about contracts and marketing and how this is affecting people in the middle of the country and down here and down over there. So me as a producer, I had to go into the studio and say, damn, I hope they like this shit on the West Coast. I
Right.
hope they like this shit over here. I hope they like it over there. So it didn't matter of saying, man, I'm gonna get paid. We're gonna
Right.
sell records. So when things went independent, which I understand, it changed the game.
It did. We're gonna go to commercial. We'll be right back. I'm
Okay.
gonna get into some questions about you working with some legendary artists and just your take on what they would say right now today about the culture. We'll be right
Gotcha.
back. Halo Ground Watch. All right, we're back. Now, can you tell me what would you think Tupac would say about the culture today?
Tupac would do this. Tupac was very passionate about the culture.
Hmm.
Tupac would be on his interview saying, I told y'all motherfuckers wouldn't listen to me. I told y'all, right? Because it's always a resistance when any artist is waking up the culture, you see. But I think after he did that while the cameras is on, I'd be like, dog, chill. I know you passionate about that shit, but we don't want to, get people on
Right.
some bullshit because based on what you said. You
Right.
should say, y'all, check this out. Look at this shit. Look at the response.
Hmm.
Look at the response of what we did.
Yeah.
You see, because when you okay, I'm a spiritual man, and yeah, I like to read scriptures. And one of the scriptures that come to mind is, "He who winneth the soul is wise." So the wisdom of it will bring people to an enlightenment. They'll be like, "Oh shit!" Once you get a large portion of people to do that, you become dangerous.
Hmm. Hmm. And that's exactly what he became. I think that, what you guys were, embarking on was a revolution. And one of the conversations that I remember you had was talking about, how he would bring people to the stage and how he would say, I want all my niggas to come to the stage and, bring people together. And
Right, right,
that
right.
for me was like, wow, nobody talks about this. Nobody talks about.
But your audience don't understand. When Tupac brought people to the stage, it was because, when I'm not political, when
Yeah.
Bill Clinton became out, when Bill Clinton became the president with the crime bill,
Yeah.
Ronald Reagan had the war on drugs. Bill Clinton had the war on crime. The crime bill locked up a lot of men with felonies that got families, man. Hip hop was always like, yo, stop disrespecting our women, y'all. Stop this and stop that. Keep it real, right? But when Pac came on the scene, he brought another, radical aspect of it. So
Right.
we were trying to be subliminal. Nowadays, you could say, nigga, we getting that pack. We got that drugs. We got the this. We got feds won't knock on your door.
Right.
Back then, they would knock on your door. So we had to become subliminal in hip hop to wake up the culture. So what you were saying, I guess a lot of people that went over their head. So
Right.
when we came up with Game of Survival as Live Squad, and Tupac took it, and we said, yo, it's the life of a thug, my nigga. And he did Thug Life.
Right.
Thug Life wasn't thugs. The hate you give little infants fucks everybody. I got that plaque hanging up behind me, but it was more or less of saying the hate you give little infants. Little infants were the recipients of the crime bill.
Yeah.
See, you're saying how hip hop went through that transition, but still being true to the culture,
Mm-hmm.
where it became hardcore, it became radical. Your Public Enemy, the red black. It's the red, the black, and the green with the keys. To see, those of you who don't know that, go to X Clan, do your YouTube research. You see how hip hop was transitioning back then with a radical message.
Right. Now, you also had an experience with Tupac and Biggie over a track. Do you want to talk about that a little bit and how?
Well, I did a track called Only Fear of Death. Only Fear of Death. If you research that track and you hear Tupac rapping about death, that was pretty much the first time I heard him talking about death. After whatever happened with him and he were dismissed off the scene, you would hear a lot of songs coming out with Tupac, the Greatest Hits album, All Eyes on Me, or whatever the album was after he was dismissed off the platform. It wasn't in a sequential order how they put these songs out. So me as a Tupac producer, I did a song called Only Fear of Death.
Yeah.
Only Fear of Death coming back, reincarnated, Only Fear of Death. But Biggie begged me for that track, but I couldn't snatch it from Pop. But I didn't know that was going to happen to Big. I figured, like, nigga, I'll do another track for you. But
Right.
if you listen to Only Fear of Death and sing the hook, Biggie, 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 can't you see? Sometimes your words just hypnotize me. He wrote that to that track.
Wow.
And I'm here telling you with the cameras on. I don't have to sit here and front that shit. It's not a big deal. It was a part of my creativity and how I influenced them too. So yes, to the answer to your question, without going in depth with that.
But that's history. That's
That's
historical.
history.
That
That's history.
yeah, that's history. I mean, and again,
Love it.
I love to hear you speak because again, you were there. You were in the midst of it. What are the plaques that you have behind you? What are those? I know one is for pain.
Can you see them? Are they
Yes.
blurred out?
Not too blurry, but
And I could transform my camera. Are they blurry?
No.
Okay, so you're seeing this one, strictly for my niggas, right?
Mm-hmm.
You see the Tupacalypse now. That's the first one. The very first time I worked with him was this one. We did Crooked Ass Nigga.
Wow.
And I barely got on that. So
Wow.
the thug life is when we came up with the concept and helped influence him with that. So all of these plaques, look, I got 7 plaques that's supposed to belong to me, and I'm going through the RIIA. Let me see what the fuck, pardon me, y'all. It's an association. When you read on these plaques, you know what I mean. It's the association. After his demise, a lot of plaques weren't sent to me, so I supposed to have like 7 back here.
Wow.
Nas, and different things. I work with Digital Underground, Coogee Rap, blah, 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 blah. I will never floss on my people because you got up and coming artists that's trying to do this shit. I'm for the artists. I ain't for all of this bling bling shit. Right. So my thing is, I'm honored to have influenced Tupac.
Yeah.
Because we was in the studio, he called me sloppy. The reason why Tupac called me sloppy, because every time he came in my room, just to share something with y'all, like if it's 13 degrees outside, it's freezing, right? It's bleeding out there. Right. My mom would let him in and say, "Yeah, he's upstairs, but I'm sleeping."
Right.
This nigga would come up, tiptoe into my room and lift up all my windows while I'm sleeping. And you sleeping, you're like, damn, I'm feeling the chill, like it's cold in here. And he will pull the covers off of me. Like, nigga, I'm in town, nigga. Wake your ass up. Wake your ass up. Those are the memories I have. We never knew it was going to become on a multi-platinum level. Right. We didn't know that shit.
Right.
We had fun doing it. And I think in today's world, the fun of being an artist has been lost.
Yeah.
So although I could be here blinged out with y'all, look, this shit was fun. I'm an artist. I'm not an entertainer.
Right.
I could give you stories from Puffy on down.
We'll be right back. We're gonna get into that. We're gonna talk a little bit. We'll be right back with K-Lo Ground Watch. Make sure y'all go follow him on his handle below. We'll be right back. All right, Kayla, we're back.
Now, what up?
I just, again, every time I hear you, I learn something new. And I think that's just the joy of who you are. You know what I'm saying? Is that you want to share those stories and you want to, inspire the next generation and the next, artists out here. Right. What would you say? Are you looking to work with new artists now?
I work with anybody.
Okay.
I don't judge, because I think a lot of new artists nowadays, they in their neighborhoods, they doing their thing. Technology has gotten you with a computer, downloading software, doing your beats, doing your lyrics. But sometimes you are limited into terms of direction. Where do I fit in? I got a lot of artists that gave up on this shit because they feel like they got to take their clothes off in order to fit in, and that's not your forte. But trust me, please, I'm that dude that was going to get involved in artist development. Don't you give up.
That's right.
And even if you need to contact me, because I'm about to go to Africa and Japan right now, and yeah, I just got the phone call the other day, and I'm like, really? Look, I still get geeked. Like, really? Oh shit! Okay, calm down. Okay, but yo, check this out. The music game is different outside of the United States of America.
Absolutely. We talked
The
about that.
United States of America, sisters, if women are listening to me saying you need to take your fucking clothes off, what about Pakistan? No, you don't need to take your clothes off. What about China? What about all these other countries that they don't even accept any sexual content from United States of America? Oh, I'm not going to go there. But it's just to impart something in your imagination to say, you as an artist, don't you give up that shit.
That's right.
It's all about making the connections, and that's where we don't work together to get it over there.
That's right. And it's so true because like what you said on the conversation the other day about, you know, people, legendary artists are still being booked overseas.
Right.
Ghetto is one of the artists that I know for sure is still getting booked in Europe and all these other places. One of the people that was on the platform the other day said Daz Effects is another artist.
Daz Effects. Yeah, they still doing it.
Yeah. And it's like, it's out there. It's, you know, one of my biggest things was to be international with any artist or, you know, just taking artists to that level because I felt like United States was so segregated and it was so,
exactly.
You know, it's like you're in a bottle. You're in a, you know, you're in a, I don't even know how to explain it, but it's just not wide open enough. And it's a kind of a taboo if you stay here. You know what I mean? Like you have to go outside of your comfort zone. You have to explore the world if you want to touch the world. And I think that's what you're doing, you know? So what is the Japan and what is that going to be about? Are you going over there?
Well, it was more or less to meet the people that are in the market of everything.
Okay.
And normally when you leave this country and go to other countries, you see how so different it is. So you're going to become like a sponge.
Right.
So if you're not built with it, and wherever you have arrived to where you have arrived, the real recognize the real. Okay. If you don't have what it takes to influence that market, then it won't happen.
Right.
It won't happen. And that's as simple as that.
Right.
You know, because the market in other places are different. The culture is different.
Right.
But your passion for what you do will show. When you sitting down with actual people, because you got to understand, people don't do business with you because of what you've done. People do business with you because of who you are.
That's right.
And that's what I've learned with a lot of business that happened to me. They didn't give a fuck about record sales. They didn't care about all that shit. It's just that what their vision was for their company. And then you have those, don't get me wrong, you have those like, oh, let's get this paper. Let's get this money. And that's what it is. It's going to be what it is. Mm-hmm. But if I'm running a team, I don't want my team to die over here because we traveled 1,000 miles away and you got murdered and shit. No, you under my team. Hey, let's stay focused with the vision of how we are trying to innovate the platform. Right. Because it's gotten dangerous. Yeah, no doubt.
I love your calm, cool, collect attitude. And I think that takes time. You know what I mean? Yeah. It takes experience, and I think that's what you're showing, is your level of expertise in this business, in this game. So can you tell me a little bit about Groundwatch and where that was formulated? Because that's what's going on currently with K-Lo, correct?
Now, Groundwatch was something for me to really be vulnerable in front of your audience, because when we were doing Jack the Rapper and all these different venues for unsigned artists, but when we were working with Pac, one time we came off stage and everybody saw me, yo, where we at, nigga? Throw your fucking hands up. Yo, I had the gold teeth and all that stuff. And when I came into my hotel lobby, somebody was like, yo, could you please listen to my stuff? Could you please, man? He had the headphones on and I'm looking at him like, damn. But a few other people was like, listen, just please hear me out, man. Just tell me. I just listen to my stuff, man. And so I came back down and I listened to this dude and he was crying. He had a tear in his eye. Wow. And he was so grateful that I was listening to his beats. And I'm like, man, that piano is dope. Man, that beat is dope. So that's when I created Groundwatch.
Wow.
To not lose myself. because when you sign record deals and all that stuff, you can lose oneself
Hmm.
because money and man, we getting paid, y'all. We doing this, we doing that. No, I had to stay focused to like this is not my identity. This is my ability. You can do anything you put your mind to. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And where my mother has brought us from,
Yeah.
and she used to point to me, don't you let anything or anyone change who you are. But when you get into hip hop can the vanity of it can pull you away. Like, yeah, we doing this shit, my nigga. But yeah, when the camera's off, you know full well your girl, your mom, like, I don't know what the fuck they think of you. When you come here, take that garbage out.
That's right.
Or your
Right.
girl be like, if they really know that you be looking at daggone soap operas. Cause I had a homie in my group. We used to wait outside for him. Like, why he taking so long? This nigga looking at soap operas, all my children and shit. So I'm just saying,
You never know.
it's like, yo, we sometimes allow it to take over a lot of things that who we are not.
That's right.
No
That's right.
matter how much money you get, don't let it allow it to you to lose oneself.
That's right. We'll be right back with Kalo. He is spitting nothing but truth, nothing but knowledge, nothing but jewels, and we are here for it. We'll be right back with Kalo in the building. All right, we're back. Now, can you tell me what would you most like to be remembered for?
I'm most likely to be remembered for someone who has impacted your mind to think.
That's
God
right.
has gifted us with so many gifts. I learned that my gift is that I love to impact minds. I do lectures. I have had the privilege and the honor to speak at high schools, places for young adults, places for people who were incarcerated, and all that. So I learned that, like, man, what am I going to say to those who have been incarcerated? How can I speak at a place for those who are in a shelter, don't have a family and shit? So what I learned is my purpose and my gift. And I want to be remembered as someone who said, man, one thing about Kalo, that nigga made me think. Cause when you not so much as that. Let me rewind. That changed my perspective. Because when you change a man's perspective, the only thing it does is make him think.
That's right.
So when a man is incarcerated, you in prison, you got a child out there. Now you stuck in these walls and you are like, damn, I can't go nowhere. They tell me when to eat. They tell me when to this. Guess what? You have time to think.
That's right.
And when a change of perspective, man, I never saw it that way. I never thought about it that way. That's an impact of thought. And that's how I want Groundwatch to be remembered.
That's right. I love that. I love that. That's a great motto to have. And now I know a little bit about you in regards to your technical experience. And you actually went to school for computer engineering, right? Was it?
Yes, I did. I
Yeah.
went back to school because one day I was at an event where I'm telling kids, look, college ain't for everybody. You could do a trade school. YouTube has helped you to enable some type of influential experience of learning this society. And I came home like, damn, I'm telling kids to go back to school. So I went back to school. I got a college degree in computer science.
Yeah.
That was something personal, but I implement that to letting anyone know you could do anything that you
Anything.
put your fucking mind to,
That's right.
whether it's hip hop or whether it's whatever, brain surgeon, law, education, arts, entertainment. That's not your identity. That's your ability.
That's right. I love
And
it
I
when
had to learn that over time.
yeah, it's not your identity, it's your ability.
It's
And
your ability.
that's so
Real
true.
talk.
Real talk. Ah! So now tell me, I know that you talked a little bit about NFTs and a project that you're working on with that. Um, is it going to be more so with your beats?
Well, when NFTs was introduced to me with the blockchain and cryptocurrency and Syntopia, Synthopia. I ran into people and they explaining it to me, and it's like, I don't know what y'all talking about. I smoked a lot of weed back then. I don't know. But it's a new way of how entertainment is being accepted in different platforms. Is the best I could tell you right about now. But I have done tracks to different videos and different NFT characters that I have.
Mm-hmm.
And my man told me about it. See, the unity of this, you can have somebody that know about the blockchain. You don't know shit about the blockchain, but I'm thanking God that this man will pull me in with what I know how to do and bring it into that. So I've done videos on, and with NFTs, you might see my character pop up in some of those videos.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But still, I'm humble enough to say, ow, I don't know what it is. You know, I ain't gonna sit here and say I know. I don't know. Right now, it's at a preliminary stage,
Right.
but guarantee you, once I put my mind to it, you see, God will give you that. What you put your mind to, you can learn that shit. But if you smoking too much weed and drinking your drink and be like, yo, let's do this shit. Let's fuck these bitches. Yo, chill, bro. Because you might have daughters, you might have a family that you have to really bring into this world, and really now my priority has changed. Fuck hip hop.
Right.
I got daughters. I got a son.
Right.
So I need to learn how to innovate. So when I do this, I like to create innovators.
Yeah.
Innovators, bro. Innovators, sis. Because when the cameras are off, what you got? You have a family? If you don't have a family, it's all good. I got a family. So my priorities are in a right sequential order.
Right. And it's your moral compass. I think
it's a moral compass.
You know what I'm saying? You have a moral compass. I have a conscience now. Growing up and influencing certain things, I don't think I really had a real conscience of what was going to happen long term with what I was influencing. And now going back, I'm like, okay, you have a moral responsibility to now correct your wrongs and make them right, and I see you doing that, and I salute you. I appreciate
it.
I'm always here.
I appreciate it.
That, again, me aligning with you, it was, I think, a part of the process. You know what I mean? Because you've enlightened so many different ways, and you've inspired me. You've inspired so many people on the platform that we came about. Worldwide Collaboration, shout out to them.
Big Trill Will and all of them. And
tell me, is there anybody you want to shout out before we end? I think we have about a minute and a half left before we end, but I want to have you come back again because, again, you are just a person that I think is a pillar for our community and what the culture needs and what my audience needs, what every audience needs. They need a Kalo.
One thing I would say to you, CJ Moore, Black by Demand. Okay. When we was in the studio, he'd be like, Lo, stop smoking so much fucking weed. You always drinking. You always coming in the studio on that bullshit. He taught me everything I know. And if you ever connected with me, I'm an artist, and that's what I'm going to say. But one thing you will hear about my songs is my beats, my drums, my patterns, and that's thanks to him. And I have to give homage to him. And we were on a business call the other day, but he taught me everything I know.
Wow.
And when I met Trill Will has a vision. And whether you go to church or whether you this, whether you that, you have to embrace the vision of someone who has an edge over you? Do you embrace that vision and the learning that they're teaching you? Because if a man is not reachable, he's not teachable. I'm one of those that can become a sponge, even in this music business. What I have accomplished, y'all see what's behind me. That don't mean shit. So please don't put me on a high pedestal, because I'm still learning and I'm still trying to, to navigate through this new phase, through this new thing of technology. So to your question, I just give shout out to Trill Will, because Trill Will has a platform that everybody is free to be in who they are. But it was I feel it's something of a unity, that we are united as artists. Yeah. There's no big I's, there's no little U's. That's right. Because some people feel like, damn, I don't measure up. No, with K-Lo, you fucking measure up.
You're so dope. Me. You're so dope. I love it. I just want to say I am grateful for this time that we had. I wish we had more time, but we're in the TV room, so we got to give them their 44 minutes, and we'll be bringing K-Lo back for some more intellectual conversations, because again, he is a man of many perspectives, and I think that again, it's just something that we need to hear more of. We need to hear more of men with honor and integrity, and who are living by principle. So I
Groundwatch at gmail.com. Groundwatch. Ground you walk on, watch like the timepiece, because we're running out of time at gmail.com.
Thank you, K-Lo.
Yay.
All right. We're out of here.
Incredible music from your streets.